Alright, what's up guys? It's Kito, and today we're going to do a tier list of Naruto-Arena Next Generation's characters, or Naruto-Arena.app characters. It's all the same thing. You know, they have 3 different names, .app, NA 2020, NA Next Gen. So, anyway. I'm just going to put them in a S, A, B, C, D, F tier, and maybe tell you why, maybe not. Depends on the character. So let's start with, it's randomized too, so let's start with Shikamaru. I put him A tier, because he's a Genjutsu only character. He can stun for 2 turns, the whole team. He can make them unable to reduce damage or become invulnerable for 2 turns. But also, he can do it for much longer, 4 turns, because by the time it's the second turn, he can cast it again. And he has a prep that has no cost. So your team saves chakra simply by having him on the team. And that's very powerful. So, Choji, B tier. Now he's really good, but I'm not putting him in A tier because he requires, to really get the best use out of him, a healer, or maybe 2, or someone to protect him, because he deals so much damage to himself. If you're using him without any healers or just anything like that, then he's probably gonna die before you can get him to max damage, and that's, you know, that sucks. Ino, I guess this isn't randomized. I wish it was, whatever. Anyway, Ino, B tier. And now, she's really good. She's a 3-turn stun. The only problem with her is, you know, it's C tier. The only problem with her is, and then this is a huge problem, is her main attack hits randomly, and it has a huge cost. Personally, I'd like her a lot better if she, her main attack cost just 1 Genjutsu and did 20 damage to a random target. She would be B tier, maybe even A tier, if that's what she did. But personally, how she is right now, they should increase it from 25 to 30, because it's too weak being random. It's too unreliable. And you don't want to have unreliability when you're trying to win games, because it's going to lose you games more often than not. Yahiko? Yeah, D tier. Straight up. He's just not good. Nagato? F tier. Terrible. I mean, just play him, and you'll see why. He's terrible. Conan? D tier. She's a little bit better because she just got a buff, but it's still not enough. She's too slow. She needs to be able to prep every turn, not every other turn. If she can prep every turn, she'd be B or A tier. Straight up. Easily. Young Kakashi, A tier. Cheap damage, reduces their damage, can kind of sort of adjust to every situation, to stuns, drainers. I mean, he's just good. You can find him on some of the meta lower, or like the teams that, if you don't have any characters, the meta teams for people who haven't had characters yet, he's on one of them. Neji, YK, Shika. So, Obito, C tier. Now, this is because he's good, but his prep lasts too short. His prep is way too short. It needs to be an extra turn. Now, I like that they added that it removes all enemy counters when you cast it, but, you know, honestly, I never, ever, 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 ever run into somebody who will kill him first or kill him second. They leave him to last, and his prep, you know, where it gives it to an ally if Obito dies while it's active. Well, I can count on my hands, maybe one hand, how many times that has actually happened to me. So, C tier. Reen, B tier, easily. She's good. She's heals like a motherfucker. She's OP by herself. If you're 1v1 against her, good luck. You're probably not gonna win it. And she can even reduce or stop somebody's ability to heal now. So, I mean, she's just really good. But she's sort of limited offensively, and her attack depends on the enemy messing up. And the more characters who are A or S tier even don't have things that rely on the opponent. They just fucking fuck your opponent up. So she has counterplay, which is what I'm saying. So Hanabi, D tier. She's just not good. Really gimmicky. Sure, she will stop stuns or drains if somebody uses a skill. But more often than not, they're just not going to do that. She has 2 turns, she can't die, but yeah, I mean, she does 20 damage every turn for 2 turns. It's okay. But that you have to be prepped, and otherwise it's 15 every turn for 2 turns. Yeah, I mean, she's just not that good. Naruto, B tier. I don't even need to explain that. Iruka, D tier. Really just not that good. The chakra he uses clashes with everybody that he's good with. So if his attack didn't require a taijutsu, if it was random or something, or yeah, just make his attack random and he'll be B or A tier easily. But him using taijutsu just fucks up his combos, because everybody I want to use him with, you know, clashes with him. For instance, Mizuki, C tier. But these guys would work great together if Iruka didn't use fucking taijutsu. These guys would be fucking OP together, because he would be able to use his invuln on Mizuki when he uses his genjutsu skill. And Mizuki's probably B tier with the right person on your team, but he's C tier by himself. His taijutsu attack is really good. It's the execute one. Demon Bros. You know, actually, I'm gonna put them in B tier, man. They're pretty damn good. If you got taijutsu, they're pretty unstoppable. They're maybe even A tier if you got infinite taijutsu, but usually you don't. These 2 guys, I forget their name, like Waraji and Zaji or something like that. D tier. They suck. Now, their change that, you know, if you stun somebody, instead of it costing 2 randoms, it costs 1 taijutsu. That's a good change. I suggested that. I don't know if they took that from my suggestion, but I did suggest that. But the problem with them is they have a 3rd skill, the bodyguard one, that basically is completely terrible, useless. To fix them, they might be B or A tier after this, is make the bodyguard skill, when somebody attacks somebody who they're bodyguarding, have their main attack cast on that person who attacks the person they're bodyguarding and reflects to them. Because right now, they have no defense, but they have a skill that reflects damage to them. So they take all this damage. It's pointless to use that fucking skill. It just gets them killed, dude. Like Asuma, his makes sense because it has a skill that reflects damage to him, but he's a defensive character who has a lot of turns of 15 damage reduction. Which is why it was designed that it makes sense that damage would be reflected to him, because he reduces damage dealt to him. These guys don't. And that's why they're D tier. Haku, C tier. I mean, he's too costly. He got big nerfs to his stun when he's during Crystal Ice Mirrors. And that really fucked him. He was B tier otherwise. Zabuza, A tier. Easily. Play against him and you'll find out why. Oboro, C tier. He's a lot better with his changes that make his damage piercing during his prep. And that's why he's C tier, but he's just not that good otherwise. But at least he can actually damage people during his prep now who have reduction or stuff like that. Shigure, D tier. Now I love Shigure, don't get me wrong, but him dealing 10 damage in this game, boo boo, it's terrible. I like him dealing 12 damage, 5 when he's prepped. The prep works great in this game, I'm glad it has no cost, but I like 17 damage more than I like 15, and I know they don't like weird damage numbers in this game, so give him 15 damage for 3 turns, and make it require him to use his prep before he can even attack and use that, and just make his prep not give him any extra damage. Make it last like 4 or 5 turns. Make him able to use his raining needles. Actually that might not work. I don't know how to fix him. Give him some defense or something. He's just all offense. Or make his, you know what? This is how you could fix him. Make his skill that deals 25 damage piercing. He'd be okay then. C tier, B tier maybe. Gaara. This might be controversial. S tier. I mean, he's got an instant kill. If you've got ninjutsu, which you probably do in this game because you get all the chakra you need usually, this guy's unstoppable, man. His sand clones works how it's supposed to work in this game, which is great. He got 10 damage when he uses his sand coffin now every turn for 2 turns, so he can deal damage without having to insta-kill somebody. S tier. Easily. Kankuro, C tier. He's very average. I mean, we don't want any singing in our lo-fi, please. Okay. Yeah. Sasuke, B tier. Now he's good, but he's just pretty average. I mean, he's just right with Naruto, man. They're both good, but average. This is like average, but this is good average. And this is like exceptional, and then this is just OP. Tamari, B tier. She's a great AoE person. She has an invuln, 35 damage to all. She's good. Dosu, A tier. Dosu is fucking strong, man. Once he preps, he's A tier. If he's not prepped, B tier, but he reduces somebody's damage permanently, increases damage you deal to them permanently, makes somebody unable to become invulnerable, deals 40 damage for 1 tie. He's just fucking great. Zaku, A tier. He's a beast, man. 45 damage to all. He's got a counter. He's got 25 damage for 1 blood, which is really good. He's just great. He's awesome. Keen, C tier. Now she's B tier. She can drain. She can deal 40 damage for 1 random. She's got combos. She's got unable to reduce damage to become invulnerable. She's just sort of limited on the damage end for most of the game. Yoroi, C tier. He's really good. 1v1. If you got taijutsu, you can't win against him. Steel chakra. If you know how to use him right, easy B tier. If you don't know how to use him, he's C tier. But what you got to use with him is his draining assault before you cast the skill that makes you gain chakra. Because that way, you gain chakra the turn that you cast it, instead of waiting a turn to gain chakra. And then you have 2 more turns of gaining chakra if you cast skills. And yeah, so instead of 2 turns of gaining chakra, if you cast it before you use Draining Assault, you get 3 turns if you cast it during Draining Assault. And move the skill before Draining Assault deals the damage, of course. Misumi, C tier. Really good, and really good 1v1 to be honest. He's B tier. He's actually pretty good. He probably needs a nerf on his skill that makes you reflect skills to people. Spy Kabuto, F tier. Terrible. He's like the worst version of normal Kabuto. I don't know why he was designed the way he is. He does the same things as normal Kabuto does, for the same chakra, but without stunning people. And he removes chakra, but it deals 15 flat damage. 15 regular damage, not even piercing. Kabuto deals 20 piercing damage. That increases the damage everybody on your team deals to this person with physical and chakra skills for 1 turn. And increases their cost by 1 random. That's the same as removing chakra, because they have to spend an extra chakra to use a skill. He's just terrible. Kabuto, A tier, easy. Anko, C tier. She's good affliction damage. Can insta kill, but she kills herself, so that's why she's C. Shior, S tier, easy. Revives when dies. Can spam, increase somebody's cost every turn for 1 blood, deals affliction damage, AoE affliction damage, infinite affliction damage if they don't use the skill. And then when he dies, he becomes he can deal 30 piercing for 2 random. I mean, he's fucking OP. Kadeen, F tier. Young Kadeen. I never see her used. She's sort of hard to understand. It's really convoluted what she does, and I think that stops a lot of people from playing her. If she was a little bit more simple, probably didn't use taijutsu either. That's the reason I don't use her, because she uses taijutsu. She clashes with everybody I want to use her with. Now, in this game, clash isn't as bad as in regular Naruto-Arena, but it's hard for me to get rid of that habit of making teams that don't clash. So, Sakura, B tier. All of Team 7 is B tier. Use them. They're super average, but they're good. Curse Mark Sasuke level 1, D tier. He's terrible. His new buffs, I can't even call them buffs. His new changes made him worse. Why make his corrupt Chidori deal non-piercing damage? Why? And why make it stun when he's used his prep? It's like he wants to be Curse Mark Sasuke, but he's just worse. You know, a lot of the new characters that are added to the game are like worse versions of the other characters that are in the game already. I don't get it. We should be designing characters to be less like the other characters, not more like them. But that's just me bitching, and my suggestions fall on deaf ears anyway. So it's not like anything I say is gonna matter. Ebisu, A tier. It's maybe controversial, but he does a lot, and for very little, and that's why he's A. Genma, F tier. Terrible. I mean, just probably the worst character in the game, probably. I mean, yeah. Just read him, and you'll find out why. Gecko, Hayate Gecko, B tier. If his counter costed 1 genjutsu and dealt 25 damage base, he'd be A tier. S tier maybe. But he's good, but average. He's too costly. I think if you make all his skills cost 1 specific chakra, he's fucking dope. But they don't cost that. Baki, C tier, I mean. Not S tier, C tier. Super average. I mean, the only good thing about him is he uses Gen and Nin, and that's not very common chakra combinations, at least. The two together. So he's unique with that. But he's sort of a spiker that, you know, has a big cost, and he has a good skill that puts 50 destructible defense on his teammates, so that's pretty good, but he's just pretty average. Shikaku Gaara, D tier. I mean, he's just really slow and very costly, and I'd never win games with him. I've never, ever been able to find a good team with him. Tayuya, A tier, pretty easy. She's like Shikamaru, except she drains chakra and doesn't require any preps. And they have the same uses and the same purpose. And you can find good use for different situations, or even the same situations, out of both of them. And I honestly don't know which one's better. I think they're both very, very good. Shikamaru, S tier, easy. He deals 50 damage to the enemy team over 5 turns, so 10 every turn, and increases their cooldowns by 1 the entire time that's active. That by itself is crazy strong. And he's got a 50 piercing damage. He's really good. I mean, he's just crazy good. And he's got a counter. Physical skills, but still crazy good. Sakon, A tier. 40 damage for 1 tie 1 random. And then his Demon Parasite skill is so fucking good. Pretty unstoppable, really. 1v1, crazy unstoppable. Jirobo, he was A tier. He's B tier now because of his nerfs. Read them, you'll see why. Kiba, B tier. He's really good. He's A tier. Kiba's A tier. Kiba's really good. I mean, he's just really good. Kimimaro, S tier, easy. All his skills are unable to be countered or reflected. He's got a stun. He's got an AoE that deals 30 damage to all, reduces their damage by 20 for 1 turn. He's got 30 damage for 1 tie. Fucking good. He deals damage to himself, but that doesn't even matter. Gaara Rehab, A tier. Oh, he's very close to S, but he just lacks the damage on his own. But if he could deal more damage on his own, he's S tier easy, but he's not. Drunk Lee, B tier. He's really good, but he's just average. I mean, he's good, but he's average. But he does have his purposes. He's pretty good. You know what? He's A tier. He's pretty damn good, actually. Yeah, he's pretty damn good. QB Naruto, D tier, easy. He's impossible to make teams with. His own skills work against each other. You know, because if he uses his healing, he can't use his rage. But if he uses his rage, he can't use his healing. Curse Mark Sasuke, C tier. He's just a better version of this one, of Curse Mark level 1. He's just a better version of that. But he's still not that good. He's too costly. He deals too much damage to himself just to be able to have cheap costs. 20 damage, are you serious? Make it 15. He'll be B tier. AMBU Kakashi. Now, at first I thought he was like D tier, but he's B tier. He's pretty dang good, actually. But he's definitely not A tier material, but he's close. He's pretty close. AMBU Itachi, F tier, easy. Now maybe it's because I'm salty that his AoE has a cooldown, or maybe because that's legitimate. I think it's because it's legitimate. Why does 15 damage to all people for 1 taijutsu that's not piercing have a cooldown of 1? No one has explained that to me yet. It makes no sense. You know what? He's D tier, but because of his boost lately, but he's still terrible. AMBU Kinoe, or AMBU Yamato, S tier, easy. He can make somebody unable to be affected by helpful effects every turn for 1 random, and deal 20 damage to them. And that by itself. But he's also got other skills that make him even more OP. But yeah, easy S tier. You know what? Shikamaru, yeah, he's S tier. I'm almost thinking he's A, but I think about everything he can do, he's actually S. AMBU, what's her name? The hell's her name? 1 second. The hell is this chick's name? You gal. F tier. She needs big boosts. Big boosts. Shikaku, B tier. He's pretty good. B tier is like perfectly balanced, really. I'd say B tier is like the balanced section. B for balanced. That's what it is. Yeah, he's pretty good. Shino, B tier. Pretty balanced. Choza, now I haven't got a chance to use him yet, but from the looks of it, he's C tier. He's a little underpowered. Yeah, and a little convoluted. Inoichi, S tier, nerf him, please. He's fucking OP. This is regular Kakashi. B tier. You know, he does what he's supposed to do, and he does it without feeling overpowered, to be honest. He's costly, but he has a good spike. He's got a reflect, but it's cost of blood. And he's got an insta-kill if you set it up properly and use a lot of chakra. You know, he does what Gaara does, except Gaara is way harder to fucking stop. Guy? B, man. He's really fucking good. I love him. But he's... Yeah, he's B. Kirinai, C tier. She's okay. I could say she could use a little buff, though. I just don't know to what. But she's close to being B tier, man. She's close. Asuma, C tier. He's not that good, man. His reflect is fucking good, but they need to make his flying swallow cost 1 tie, 1 random, deal 5 less damage, make his sharpened blades cost a nin, and increase his damage by 5. And then, yeah, and then not increase the duration, but the damage. So you can keep using nin to increase its damage to like 20 for 2 turns or something. I don't know. 20 damage reduction 2, increase the damage reduction 2. I don't know. He needs some boosts though. Itachi, S tier. Easy. He's fucking OP, man. He's strong. He's really good. I mean, I can't tell you how many games I've won with him. Just being in Mangekyou Sharingan and being completely invulnerable to anybody. Too many times that I can count. Kisame, C tier. He's very close to B. But his stuns, man. His stuns, dude. Reduce their cooldown or something. Take their cooldown away. He'd be better. Shizune, B tier. In my opinion, she's like a very good example of how to balance a character in this game. Hinata, C tier. Now, I want to like Hinata. I want her to be good. But more often than not, she's just not, dude. She's just not. Jiraiya, A tier. Pretty easily, actually. I mean, he does so much. And you combo him with the right affliction character, and you got a fucking party going, dude. He's just really good. You know what? I'm moving this nerd, I forget what his name is, Ebisu, down to B tier. He's pretty balanced. He's not A tier material though. Tsunade, she's B tier. She's pretty balanced. She's pretty good. Orochimaru, S tier. Easily, dude. I mean, just being able to gain 1 chakra every single turn once you use Manda, fucking crazy good. And he has this curse mark that you can gain that extra chakra on your 2nd turn. And God, he's just so good. Minato, A tier. Pretty... No, you know what? No. C tier. Give him back his invulnerability when he attacks a fucking enemy. Why did you take that away? He's A tier if he doesn't have that. There's other ways you could have balanced him. That's not how you should have done it. You know, he would have been A tier, which is, you know, a little too strong. But if you keep the whole effect of he's only invulnerable to non-affliction skills, he's B tier and he's balanced, even if he becomes invulnerable if you use it on an enemy. But he's C tier right now because he's not that good because of that. He's actually, his design doesn't make any sense at all if you remove the invuln from his attack. Stupid. Dumb decision. I don't know how that made... I don't know how those changes made it to live. And I'm sorry, but it's just my fucking honest truth that I feel. It's my opinion. Kushina, C tier. She needs a boost, man. Her stun needs to increase the damage enemies take permanently by 5. The first Hokage reanimated. B tier. He's pretty balanced. Pretty good. Same for Tobirama. Pretty balanced, pretty good. Hiruzen. Pretty balanced, pretty good. Pretty strong, really. Just not overpowered. Yondaime. Minato. Now, before he was B tier, but now he's A tier. He's crazy good, dude. He increases the damage of somebody by 5, lowers the damage by 5, deals 25 affliction damage for 2 random. Deals 40 damage that can't be counter-reflected, then becomes only costing 1 ninjutsu. His boost made him fucking good. He's really good. He's one of my favorite characters, to be honest. Naruto S. B tier. He's pretty good. Pretty balanced. Neji. A tier. Now, I don't know why he's A tier, because if you look at him on paper, he's like a B tier, but the way he performs in game, easily A tier. He's just a little too strong, and I don't know why, but he just is. Sakura S, A tier. Her heal, remove enemy skills from herself. She's just really fucking good, man. She's OP. Oh, you know what? They made it cost 1 random, didn't they? Yeah, they bounced her out, actually. Sai, A tier. He's really good, man. His adaptive painting is too strong. Konohamaru, S, C tier. He's good, but I don't know. He's just not that good. Kiba S, A tier, man. He's a little too strong. Reducing somebody's damage by 10, that's fucking crazy, dude. I don't even know how to... That's just crazy, dude. He's crazy. He's really good. Shino S, B tier. He's pretty balanced and he's pretty damn good. I'd say he's just as good as Shino, regular Shino, but for different reasons. Hinata S, D tier. She's just really not that good at all. At all. Neji S, C tier. He's okay. I like his changes to his spike, or what used to be a spike, but it does 35 damage, destroys destructible defense, and it removes a random chakra from them, right? Let me see if it destroys destructible defense still. I don't think it does. 1 second. Yep, still does. Yeah, he's C tier. He's pretty good, but he's a little too costly for a drainer, personally. Lee S, A tier. Really, really good. Really strong. Tenten S, B tier. She's really good. I'd use her. I use her all the time, actually. She's really good. But she's pretty balanced. I mean, I won't say she's OP at all. Shika S, A tier. Easy. This guy's a fucking beast. Love his design. He's just really, really strong. But I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because I love him as a character. In the game and in the show, but mostly in the game. Lee, man, he was up in S tier, dude, but he's A tier now, but he's still really good. His nerfs brought him down to A tier, though, so I think they did a pretty good job with those nerfs, because he definitely needed them, I'll tell you that. Choji, S. He was S tier before his changes, and now he's B tier. They nerfed him tough. That nerf to the cost increase really, really, really balanced him out. He's pretty balanced now. His counter is really good. Ino S. Definitely F tier. Terrible character. Kakashi S. A tier. Pretty easily, actually. He's fucking great. Reducing the cooldowns of your teammates' skills is crazy strong. His stuns, his improvement spike, his ignore invulnerability skill. Fucking easy A tier, dude. You know what? Lee S, B tier. He's balanced. Yamato S. He's like the worst version of AMBU Yamato. C tier. He's not that good. Guy S. A tier. Easily. His fucking boost to his kick that give him a stack of his gates release. Oh boy. He's one of my favorite characters in the game right now. So good. Asuma S. B tier. Pretty good, pretty balanced. And regular 10-10. B tier. Pretty good, pretty balanced. Alright guys. So this is the video. I'm sure it's been pretty long, so I'm gonna just wrap it up. That's why I stopped explaining things really. But yeah, hope you like it. If you don't agree with me, tell me what you don't agree with. But yeah. Anyway, it's been Kito. Peace. Bye.
Hold up. I'm like, oh shit. Call me Schoenberg, little bitch, I'm on my own shit. I can't fuck around with you cause you a broke bitch. Yeah, the label called and said they need some more hits. I said, fuck that little bitch, I'm on my own shit. Diamonds on my hip, I need some more drip. I got all these bitches on my own dick. Me, myself, and I, we got our own clique. Check out my song, that bitch I won't click. Everybody wanna get a piece of the pie, but I'm sorry I don't owe you shit. They think that I've been scheming, I've been rolling with a team, but that's another way I grow this shit. Got dropped in the water when they thought that I would drown, they never thought I was supposed to swim. I lost friends in the water, looking down at everybody, they been watching with the coldest grin. But ain't no one as cold as him. Don't even gotta change to his name in the game, but nobody got more gold than him. Nobody controlling him, the devil got a hold of him. Somebody please get me his damn phone number, can somebody get